did it? Maybe no, I don't think I have the audio plugged in to come back in there. Okay. I guess. Screw it, go live. Let's go. Add started. You're live, it says officially. Hit this. Two watching. Staring at Eric's lovely mug.
Lol.
Hey, you're breathing.
Huh?
Something.
Yeah. Barely.
Four watching. It is you entertaining.
Yeah.
I don't know why this
Oh.
isn't working at all. See this?
I don't know.
Doing anything.
I couldn't tell you.
We are live.
All right, YouTube.
I can
Hi.
see that we're live. You guys can hear me. Oh, we're just okay now. It says.
Oh. Okay.
It's okay.
Whoa.
We're bad to
Whoa.
okay. On this
Whoa.
internet, we're just okay.
This internet.
Yeah, business line internet in the house.
Yeah. Oh.
It's just okay.
Gotcha.
Just to see what happens.
Holy Christ. I look like crap.
What else is new?
Hey, thanks. Yeah.
You clean yourself up like once every 6 months?
Yeah.
Something like that?
I look like a Mack truck hit me. I'm so tired.
Just wait till you see how tired you are after I knock everything down back here.
Right?
It's okay. New set will be built soon. I swear. The desk is supposedly here in a week.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh.
Being hand delivered.
Interesting. All right.
And they will bring it into the room. I'm assuming it comes assembled. Otherwise, I wouldn't need that. So, hey,
What?
they want to bring it down the stairs and around that corner.
Yeah.
Be my guest.
Well, I mean, it's not that hard.
Whoa,
you just
there's no railing.
you go down the
If there
stairs
was a
and then you
rail-
turn.
if there
Yeah,
was a
yeah,
railing
yeah.
there, it would really
Yeah.
suck. I don't even know if it would be possible,
Yeah.
to be honest. But it's not my problem. It's for them. They got to take it apart to bring it down.
Right.
Oh, boy. See here. See where I'll center because I don't have the camera flipped.
Did you do the start the audio?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just seeing how the framing is. Oh, yeah. The framing's good. All right.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna say you didn't really change.
Yeah,
the
I
framing.
didn't flip the camera around, so I can't actually see the framing.
Yeah.
So that's why I was waiting for it to catch up on the video.
Yeah.
Anyways, oh man, how you
Go
guys
Burke
doing
Crew.
today?
Burke Crew.
Let's see here. I know I always tell myself not to check the chat, then I always check the chat.
Yeah, you do.
Well, we haven't officially started the podcast
No, I
yet.
know.
So how you guys doing?
Yeah.
We got BJ Holloman, Birdman here, Derwin Hernandez, Goofus Maximus.
Nice.
Nice name. Intro can use some work. So, that you can tell that's obviously someone who's never been here before.
Yeah.
This isn't an intro.
No.
Our podcast is never live streamed publicly,
Well.
except for once per month. That once per month is to advertise that you could catch our live streams recorded live if you're a $10 and up backer on Patreon. So when you talk about intro could use some work, technically this isn't there's no intro to the podcast. There's the intro music and then us. This is the recording of the podcast. So all you're really seeing is a live stream of the podcast recording. The podcast goes live publicly on Monday, fully edited with a proper intro and all that stuff. So
Pretty much.
you'll notice when the tone changes and the actual podcast begins. All this stuff is usually completely cut out. This is just kind of what you see behind the scenes. And even this set is not going to be forever. New set is going to be built. Probably the first thing I need to do is paint the damn room. But
Yeah.
anyways, because the desk is going to be here, the lights are supposedly going to be here at some point this month. I only ordered it like a month ago.
I know, right?
Anyways, so anyways, it's going to be a really cool looking set, but I got to get it painted. All right. That being said, let's get the shindig going, huh? Shall we?
Yeah, it's been a little bit. Way too long.
Oh, yeah, I know. We will talk about that at the beginning, obviously. That's not what I want. I want the timer stopwatch, I guess.
Yeah, that's John stopwatch.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Nintendo Prime Podcast, episode 106. Holy crud, has it been a while.
Yeah.
All right, I'm your host, as always, Nathaniel Rumpeljans, joined to my left and your right by...
Eric Moore.
And man, oh man, I need to apologize, primarily to our patrons more than our other viewers, since they are the ones that made this podcast a weekly show, and we haven't been weekly for the past 2 weeks. We've been actually pretty good in 2019.
Yeah.
2018, we had some blips here and there, but we never really missed 2 in a row. It was always just 1. But I have just not been feeling well. Some of you guys already know this. Plus Eric, incredibly busy. That's just life. But in general, it was mostly my fault that it didn't happen. Just too tired and worn out and sick, and I had food poisoning for a little bit there that I suffered through, and it just, things weren't lining up. But the nice thing is, I'm mostly good now, although I think today I came down with a cold, so... yeah,
course.
it's one thing after
Of course.
another. But see, it's day 1 of the cold, so it's
Yeah.
not that bad yet.
Yeah.
But by this time next week, hopefully it's over. But knowing me, I mean, my daughter's first communion is coming up, so I'm gonna be
Right.
just wrecked that day. I don't know how I'm gonna
Probably.
get through it, but this is also a sweet episode to come back on because we are on our road to E3. Eric's been secretly counting down the days for like 2 months.
Just a little bit. How
many days away are we now?
I don't actually know.
It is less than
It is
30.
less than 30. It is less than 30.
Technically,
What are we, like,
at the time of recording,
25?
at the time of recording, it is like 30 days away from like June 11th. But we're not leaving on June 11th. Obviously, we're getting the heck out of here. We fly out on the 6th to go to E3 because everything really starts with EA Play
Yes.
on the weekend. And then...
Which we still need to register for.
Yes,
just
they
remember that.
actually just put the registration
Did
up
it?
for
Okay,
it, yeah.
perfect.
So we're fine. The EA Play stuff, and then Nintendo's Smash Bros. And Splatoon tournament as well that weekend. So we got to get down there for the weekend, even though we're not planning to attend the Smash and Splatoon tournament because Microsoft is running their Rager press conference on Sunday. So,
Of course they are.
well, that's, we're doing EA Play on Saturday.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I figured that.
I mean, there's probably only FIFA anyways for Nintendo.
Yeah,
but,
probably. Like it was last year.
yeah, and we'll just be able to get even better footage.
Footage.
that we're not supposed to have.
Yeah.
Unless they kick us out. We're
Well,
teamwork.
hey, at least look at it this way.
We got the footage.
We got the footage.
We'll destroy my phone.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
It's an automatic. Make sure I turn automatic cloud backups on.
That's what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Anyways, I really don't care if I get kicked out of EA Play. It's okay.
Right.
That being said, it's going to be a lot of fun. We fly out on the 6th. Our trip might begin on the 5th, kind of in the afternoon, because we're probably going to be at a hotel. Because our flight's at like 6 in the morning or 6:30.
7:30. I thought it was.
I don't know.
I think we
It's
flew out
early.
at 7:30ish.
It's early, so
Yeah.
we're just going to drive over to the city, spend the night, park the car, and
Yeah.
go about our thing.
Yeah.
We still got to wake up early anyways.
Right.
But at least we can
We don't
get
have to
a little,
leave. We don't
A
have to-
little more sleep, and we don't have to do an hour and a half drive.
We don't have to leave here at like 2:30 a.m.
And it's not even an hour and a half drive, because there's an hour and a half drive, then you got to go to the place to park your car, and then
Yep.
they go park your car. See, we'll already have that done. We
Yeah.
just wake up, grab our stuff.
Well,
hand
no.
them our room
What
keys,
we'll probably
and
have
go
to
on
do
the
is.
shuttle.
Well, no. What we'll probably have to do is that morning we'll go park the car.
I'm
and
pretty
then
sure
jump
we can
back.
park the car when we go check in.
Maybe, I don't know.
Guaranteed, because it's a one package thing.
Yeah.
So guaranteed, just
Either way.
park it and just shuttle
Yeah.
it right in the way in the morning.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll figure it all out. I'm not really that worried about it. But man, it's gonna be the earliest we've ever been in LA.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Seriously,
Daddy, can you Lego first?
not right now. After the podcast, I can. See, this is the joy you get when you
Get to see the.
when you spend
Live
$10 a month
Yeah.
on Patreon. You can see my kids occasionally appear.
Yeah.
All right, buddy, go. I'll be up there when I'm all done. I'm halfway tempted to hand him a Switch and say, leave me alone. Is that good parenting? When I'm trying to get him to go to bed, is that good parenting? Just hand him a Switch?
If it gets
think
him to go to sleep.
The Switch is upstairs sitting on the counter, so he didn't see it.
Didn't see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, we head to LA early this year, man.
Yeah.
What like I don't we did arrive on Saturday last time?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think we arrived on Saturday.
No,
got
I think
us-
where
'cause
was
we
it,
had
Friday?
we had one day of EA Play that we could go to, but I didn't go because of the press conferences on Sunday.
Okay, yeah. So we must.
So I think we arrived on Saturday.
Yep.
Because that's it. Then we got our badges, and
Yep.
all that, which took a little bit.
Yep.
And then by the time we were all settled, we couldn't really do EA Play that day.
Right.
And you know what really sucks is that last year there was a press conference. We could have gone to the EA press conference this year if there was one.
Yeah.
Got the connects,
Yeah.
but there's not an EA press conference, so we don't get to go to it. Not that I'm saying
Come
I necessarily want to be there.
Come on.
And I'd probably live stream it anyways.
Yeah.
But who knows? If Eric wanted to get the press conference experience in person, do would be like, sweet, go get your free swag and sit back and enjoy.
You mean
Why not?
like I do walking around EA Play?
Yeah, that's, I don't know. I never. To be fair, I don't know. I didn't go last year, so I don't know.
Yeah,
What it's like.
they mean
Just handle
you-
free swag.
Yeah, I came back with 2 posters and
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I remember.
and a couple of copies of couple of free copies of Madden.
Yeah, the old.
Yeah, the
man.
old versions of it, but I mean, still,
I mean, whatever.
theoretically,
It's still something.
yeah,
right?
yeah. Sunglasses, tote bag, yeah.
Yeah, it's a swag fest.
Yeah.
Plus, did they have things you could buy in there too?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah, of course they do. So, anyways, yeah, man, like this is the earliest we've ever left. One, because I wanted to make sure we both went to EA Play this year and got like our full day there. 2, because I know on Sunday the press conferences start, and 3, I want a day of rest before the big, because
Before we-
like literally every time we've gone, it's hit the ground running right away.
yeah.
The first year that we went back in 2016.
God, that was rough.
We arrived on Monday, but it was like Monday. No, it was probably on Tuesday by the time we actually got in at like 1 a.m.
Yeah, yeah.
And literally Tuesday is when E3 begins, like, and we got hardly any sleep and just slammed it for like 3 days and got the hell out.
Yeah.
And granted, that's the cheapest way to do it.
Yeah.
But it's also, it killed me. So we said, no, not doing that this time. Well, then we forgot about EA Play.
No,
We thought we were.
I don't know if we. I don't know if we really.
We thought we were fine.
Forgot about EA Play. I don't
No,
think we ever
no.
really thought
We
about EA
didn't
Play.
register for EA Play until we got there.
No, I know, but like I said, I don't know if we actually
No.
forgot about EA Play. It was we didn't necessarily think about it at all.
No,
I don't.
we didn't even know about it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we didn't forget
No,
about it.
I forgot because I knew
Oh.
initially, and then I forgot.
Oh, I didn't forget because I never knew.
Oh, well,
You're all of a
of
sudden
course-
like, well,
of
let's
course you
just do
never
this.
knew. Of course
Oh,
you never knew.
oh, there's that. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Sure.
no, so because I'm like, oh, we'll get there on the weekend instead of
Yeah.
like on Monday, right? We'll give ourselves a day of rest, or
Yeah.
that's what I figured.
Yeah, that's what we- that's what
arrive
we're
on
hoping for,
Saturday,
yeah.
and then even Sunday, even if I stream press conferences,
Right. It's not that.
it's like half the day is
Yeah.
still a day of rest. Go swim
Right.
in the pool. Go,
oh,
go
the
chill.
pool of healing.
The pool of healing.
Oh,
Oh,
God,
it's
that
gonna be
pool.
nice.
That pool had magical powers, man.
I'm telling you, it did. I have never had my knee pain go away in anything I've ever been in but that damn pool.
That pool had real massive magical powers. I mean, besides healing, I mean, I talked to an attractive girl there too. I mean, that pool had magical powers. I don't. Sure.
Put it this way. Not just that you talked to her, she wanted to talk to you.
Yeah.
That's the magic.
Actually, well, it was more she started the conversation too,
did.
so that's crazy.
She did. That's
Yeah.
what have I been telling you all these years? You got to find a way to be like me and make the girls come to you.
Yeah.
If you go after them, I don't have
Yeah.
I have zero success
Yeah.
at that. But them coming after me, God,
Yeah.
I'm like 6 for 6. Let's go.
Yeah.
Anyways, setting all that aside, we will actually have a day of rest because there isn't a press
Well,
conference on Friday.
I mean, besides the fact that we get there at like
we'll have
10
like 2
a.m.,
days.
11 a.m. at
I still
Thursday.
don't count the first day we arrive as a day of rest.
right.
Because you still pick up press badges, or our
Car.
our badges, check into the hotel. Sure, we'll have a little more time. Like we're not going to be like, oh, we'll get that all done, and it's now 5 p.m., 6 p.m.
Yeah.
It'll be more like 3. By the time we probably can't check in till 3, so we'll probably have
Yeah.
to bum around for a little bit after the badge and get some
Yeah.
lunch and then check in.
Yeah.
But either way, then we get then we're checked in, and I'll have everything set up by like 5 p.m. and then we can actually relax.
Yeah. Right.
Go swim.
Yeah.
Maybe actually watch a movie there instead of just having it on in the background while
What?
I'm working. Like actually you got to watch. I didn't get to watch.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch Dumb and Dumber. I'm like,
Yeah.
I love Dumb and Dumber, but I can't watch. Got to work.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it'll be nice. And then Friday, because there's no press conference, that is like my relaxed day. Like I don't know if I'm gonna do anything in particular. I know I'm going to the beach.
Oh, yeah.
I actually want to go to the
Right.
beach and actually enjoy it for more than 30 seconds. I'm not saying we got to be there
No, I
all
know.
day.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, for
half
sure.
hour,
For
hour.
sure.
Like, and
Yeah.
not just because someone lost a bet.
Yeah. Don't remind me.
Oh, betting special.
Yeah. You mean the Eric
Eric
loses?
losing special.
Yeah.
It's coming up. Can't do ocean water this time. It's
No.
something else. I don't know
I
what.
know. I got to figure out another punishment.
I don't know what.
I guess if you want to throw out
It's
punishment
hard because
ideas,
you have an iron stomach, so it's
If you
hard
wanna-
for me to think about food
right,
punishment.
right. If you want to throw out the punishment ideas, I guess comments.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's referencing our
fantastic.
betting special. We do a betting special every E3, and he's lost every single one of them. But the thing is, he's barely losing them. Like, they are coming down to like the last question. This last week, on the second to the last, and then it didn't matter what happened with the last one.
Yeah.
But still, for it to come down to that, it's like every time it's like down to the wire. And I don't know how we're going to do the betting specialist things. I haven't even thought about it yet, but we'll figure it out. Last year we had a patron do it, read the questions and all that stuff. So we'll see what happens this time. Who knows? Maybe I'll actually have the patrons come up with all the questions for it this time. That might be kinda interesting.
Yeah.
Because then we don't know, and I can't rig it towards stuff that maybe I know that Eric doesn't know or anything. And be like, nope, he's got time to research stuff too.
Yeah.
So we'll see about that. All right, let's get into our actual topics for this first week of our road to E3. We got some juicy ones. The first topic, oh boy. Nintendo has unveiled their plans for E3. Surprise, surprise, it's pretty much the same as they do every year.
Wow.
Who knew?
How original.
June 11th at 9 p.m. It's not CT's. PT at 9
Yes.
a.m. I wrote 9 p.m. I don't know. I know what time it says.
You
9 a.m.
Woo.
PT. They are doing a Nintendo Direct, and they are calling it a Nintendo Direct. So not a digital
Holy
event
cow.
or anything. They're actually just going to say, hey, it's a Nintendo Direct. Well, yeah, it's always been a Nintendo Direct. You just called it something else. An E3 digital event. Or it's a Nintendo Direct. So the first E3 under Shintaro Furukawa, and we are getting a Nintendo Direct at E3. So there you go. No details on how long it is or anything yet. They may not give us any details on that. You presume it's at least a half hour, maybe 45. We'll see. Usually it's the longest Direct of the year. Last year was like 20 minutes of Smash and then 15 minutes of other stuff. But this is going to be interesting because they mentioned, they say this every year, by the way, but it's going to be 2019 titles only. Now, caveat, they say this every year, and then they still show off titles for the next year. So it doesn't really mean anything. So a lot of people don't expect it. They're tempering your expectations.
Yeah.
But they do it every year. So it literally means nothing. It means you are primarily going to see 2019 games. And I think that's a given.
Yeah.
I mean, think about Super Mario Maker 2 comes out later that month.
Yep.
Marvel Ultimate Alliance. We've got Luigi's Mansion, Animal Crossing. I mean, that just stopping right there. Then you have Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Yep.
I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Town, for crying out loud, is still slated for 2019.
It's still slated for
Yeah,
2019.
we haven't seen
Still
anything on it,
from
but
yeah. Maybe E3
like
playable.
it's
That'd be nice.
Daemon X Machina. It's just the list goes on. Like there's so many games. So yeah, we're gonna see all those games. I bet we'll see them, practically all of them. If we don't see Animal Crossing, then I'll be scared because that'll be it's probably delayed.
Yeah.
But we're going to see everything they have coming this year, for sure. And then they'll tease probably at least one or two things for next year. That's my guess. Now, that's what's happening at 9 a.m. I will be live streaming it because, again, we have gamer passes this year, which means we can't actually get in. So we'll basically, I stream it. We chit-chat a little bit after it's done. And then Eric and I leave and go get in the public line to get in. Or eat and then get in. I can't remember what we did last year. We had kind of plenty of time, but I do want to be more towards the front. One thing we do have to sign up for, and this is something I forgot to put on here, is they replaced the Smash Pass that we could sign up for last year with Warp Pipe.
Warp Pipe.
The way they describe Warp Pipe is basically the Smash Bros. Where you go and you sign up and you play a game without waiting in line. You have a set time, which, as we learned, it really isn't a set time. It's a time when you can get in line to play, and you're in a VIP line.
Yeah.
So basically, they cut off everyone else, and you get your own things to play on. That's what it was with Smash Bros. Maybe it will be different this year, and they'll actually do the set times, and you'll actually play at your set time. I don't know.
Right.
But They made it sound like you'll be able to use the Warp Pipe Pass to play multiple games. That has me very interested. Now, the fact it's called Warp Pipe, I think
Is
that's
it
fast
track?
No. It's Mario.
Yeah.
So I think their theme this year. The theme last year was Smash. The theme this year is going to be Mario Maker 2.
Yeah.
I just have a feeling it's Mario Maker
Yeah.
2.
Is there any other Mario games coming out?
Not that we're aware of.
Okay.
At the moment.
So maybe
there could be a new
there
one
could be
announced.
another
Who knows?
announced, and then
All
maybe
I know
a couple.
is it's called the Warp Pipe Pass, and they made it sound like multiple games you'll be able to use with it. So that'll be nice. What was nice about the Smash thing is we got Smash done right away.
Yeah.
We were done. So it'll be nice to see what we can skip lines for. I'm really hoping that Pokemon Sword and Shield are part of it.
the only problem is
'Cause-
a lot of times you can't cop footage of that, which
I don't care.
I know. No, it's great for reactions and
Hands-on
impressions.
impressions.
For sure.
And no, it was only Let's Go. They wouldn't let us get footage. We
Which
don't
is-
know. We don't know about this.
Yeah.
We don't know about. They might let us get footage of Sword and Shield. I don't know. And if they don't, let's just be honest.
There's
The
so
way that everything is displayed, you can still sneak getting footage of other
you
people
stand
playing.
30 feet back and you can zoom in.
Well, if I can get my camera in, I can definitely stand 30 feet back and zoom
Yeah.
in and get really good footage.
Yeah.
I'll just pretend. I'll just have all I gotta do, especially if I get the try.
I'll just stand off to the side a little bit and you just zoom past my head.
Be like, hey, you just act like you're talking into this fake mic.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna actually be zooming in and recording.
Right.
Anyways.
Right.
And the thing is, Nintendo doesn't actually strike anyone for doing it. They just, it's weird. I don't. Again, the thing to remember about Pokemon though is it's not Nintendo's
Nintendo,
rules.
right.
It's the Pokemon Company's rules.
Yep.
They don't want people getting footage of it for some reason. That's what the way they were with Let's Go. I assume they'd be less way with this one. Who knows? I think they're gonna have more demos this time around, so
I would
they
hope
might
so.
not be
I would
as
hope so.
restrictive this time.
Yeah.
We'll see. We don't know. We're not there, but whatever. You guys saw I got like a minute or so of footage up anyways before they yelled at me. So, yeah, I'm not really too worried about it. Besides, you just have to kind of, I'm just getting the whole
Yeah,
thing.
right.
Immediately
Stop for a second and then just keep going and come back.
and just
And,
splice it all together
Yeah,
in the end, and it
yeah.
all looks good.
all right.
Anyways, there's some trickery you could do to get around some of the restrictions, and for some reason they don't get mad at you for it. So, we'll see what happens. Well, the thing is, with a media pass, I don't. Who knows? Because then you get in before everyone the first 2 days, and then maybe the rules are a little different for just media. But we don't know because we haven't had media pass since they started putting the restrictions on. We're at E3 with a Pokemon. Our first E3
Yeah.
was Zelda only. So.
Yes.
All right, so that is an interesting thing. On the 8th and 9th, we mentioned before, they got the Splatoon 2 and Super Smash Bros. Tournaments. They're a conclusion of the tournaments they've been running kind of all year. So teams from, I think it's the U.S., or I should say North America, and then Europe. I'm forgetting something. Australia. And there was a combination of two other countries, France and something. I don't know. Anyways, that's happening, and that's going to be really fun. They were really entertaining last year. I remember I didn't live stream them the last time. Who knows? Maybe the thing is I won't be streaming anything on the Saturday. Guaranteed. We're doing EA Play. Priority is for us is games that you guys can't play that we can go hands-on with. Get hands-on impressions and footage. That is the most important part of this entire trip, in my opinion, because you guys can watch the same live stream that I could be reacting to at home. You can't play the game. So that's our focus. So, so for sure,
it seemed to
but
do
we'll
well for
see.
us.
Maybe on Sunday, if things fit between press conferences or before press conferences, maybe I'll stream react if I'm just chilling at the hotel all day, which I did last Sunday, so I'll probably end up doing it again this Sunday. I mean, basically, I spend a lot of time at the hotel because I'm always editing and doing stuff. But that's what being early. I get out of the hotel on Friday, and enjoy some of LA.
I mean, you'll get out of the hotel on Saturday.
Just no Hollywood sign tours.
Yeah, no, not worth it. Not worth it.
I don't even care about seeing it anyway. I can see it from a distance. I'm good.
Yeah,
but you probably still see it from a distance.
Yeah, you don't get very close to it. It's obnoxiously.
All right. But now, besides that, they're going to have the Nintendo Treehouse Live, of course, all 3 days. Again, same thing every single year. What is cool is they did say Nintendo Switch software only. So, 3DS, you are finally dead.
Well, maybe.
No, it is.
Oh.
They officially announced at the last financial meeting that they have 0 new titles in the works for 3DS.
Holy cow, wait. Oh, I suppose because of the new.
That's them.
Switch.
They said there'll be new third-party titles.
So-
That means that if Nintendo's done, it's done.
So
They
Switch,
are done.
Switch Mini's coming out then.
Well, they did also note it would be software only shown. So I think they're trying to squash any expectation of hardware. Again, can you believe it?
Yeah, I don't know.
No one knows.
Yeah.
But if you take Nintendo's word, no Switch Pro, no Switch Mini, no new hardware revisions being shown. That's what they're saying, so that's what we got to go with.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean they can't show it before E3, because then it wouldn't be a new showing of it. They could just have it at E3 but not talk about it since they already showed it.
Yeah.
Or they can show it later, or they can not have it at all and they can have no revisions coming. But the fact that they say software only lets you know that, wait a second, why would you have to know it's software only if there isn't new hardware? So Nintendo's kind of like, oh, hey, I mean,
Hint.
hint, like, hey, we have something to talk about. We have a little
Dangle,
morsel.
dangle.
Yeah, we have a little morsel to talk about, but you know what? Not at E3.
No.
Not at E3. We'll let Xbox.
So why would we do that?
Well, we're too buddy with Xbox, so they're having their hardware stuff. We're gonna let
yeah.
them dominate.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
They're gonna dominate with the hardware stuff and the hype, and we're just gonna bring the games. We're just gonna game you up. We're gonna hit you and beat you over the head with games and shove them so far up your rear end that they're coming out your esophagus.
Yeah.
Or out your ears. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Why not?
Whatever.
Why
Your
not?
holes are higher up, I
Yeah.
guess, in your body. So sure.
Coming out your eyes.
Coming out your eyes.
Why not?
So yeah, that's their schedule. That's what's happening with Nintendo. Now, as always, to note to people, that's just Nintendo. There are a whole bunch of other press conferences happening that could have games that are going to be on Switch. Guaranteed Just Dance is going to be on Switch again, and they'll have a thing like that at the Ubisoft press conference as always.
I'm wondering if they're gonna have another stage.
It could be Bethesda planning to show off Doom. We know that, and we know that's coming to Switch. So there's a lot of other stuff to pay attention to at E3, and we'll be talking about that as we continue down our road to E3. But it's only appropriate that the first week on our road to E3, we just mentioned the Nintendo stuff.
Yeah.
And that's really all we're going to do is mention. Just go over the schedule and kind of move on, because in future weeks we'll be talking about more specifics, expectations, predictions,
Leaks
and all that
that
stuff.
happen.
Leaks that end up happening, rumors,
Because
that's just what
that
how it
generally
goes.
just tends to what happens.
But there is one thing we're going to talk about, one game that we're pretty certain is going to be there, especially now, because our second topic. What is it about, Eric?
Oh, that would be Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. First preview is out.
Yes, the Black Order. I think it was GameSpot or Game Informer. I can't remember.
Informer.
It was a Game Informer.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, they got to be basically the debut of actual gameplay. We got 7 minutes of real gameplay, and throughout it they're just explaining how the game works. And Eric's face palm. That's how these. That's how.
I know.
Got to be a little lenient. They're just explaining how the game works,
It's the
just
third,
because you know.
it's the third one.
But the second one was
I
a
get it.
long time ago.
Yeah, I know.
And this is Switch exclusive. You know how many people have never played it who are Nintendo
Probably a
fans?
lot.
Yeah.
I know, but it was
Know
just
your
like,
audience,
Oh my,
Eric.
I get that. I mean, I understood what they were doing, but at the same point, I was like, is they're like, you can do this? I'm like, so Marvel Ultimate Alliance, okay.
All right. So I'm going to let you kind of lead this topic because you've actually played the games and I've never had.
The
So how did the gameplay look in this?
gameplay looked almost identical to the old stuff. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. Go back, play the old stuff. Ultimate Alliance 2. Ultimate Alliance 2 isn't, in my opinion, isn't quite as good as
it's
1.
not just your opinion. It literally has like a 50 rating on.
Yeah,
Metacritic.
it's not terrible. They took out a lot of the RPG elements that made 1 fantastic.
Okay, what kind of RPG elements are we talking?
Basically, you could choose different moves and you can level up those moves and power ups and everything like that.
Okay, so
And then they cut down massively on the list of stuff that you can get, and it actually kind of sounds like
it sounds like each
third
character
one.
has 4 abilities,
which
I guess is because there's 4 face buttons.
right.
I guess
but
I get it.
there was a list of like a good. I don't know how many it was.
Well, it sounds like that is something they kept from 2. Is more limited abilities. Like you only have the 4. Each character has the 4. But they did say other things too, though. Like there's something that there was like talent trees and stuff where you could gain different types of weapons that might not change your abilities, but
Right.
change your attacks.
Right. Yep. But that's what been part of the other things as well.
Was that in 2?
Yep.
As well.
Jewelry, stuff like that, just been trinkets, trophies, stuff like that. That gave you different power ups to certain certain characters, certain not necessarily certain characters. Sorry, certain like abilities, certain traits of your character, and how that works in flow, and you find your best fit of your trinkets for each character, and try to build it up that way as well. So yeah, I mean it's a normal gameplay for Ultimate Alliance. Gameplay looks like a Ultimate Alliance gameplay.
Which
like I
is
said,
very notable too, by the way, because this is made by a completely different studio.
yeah, it's got the same feel.
Completely different studio. So to even get that feel, I think is important when it's a completely different team working on it.
The one thing I did hear them say that I was kind of disappointed in is you can't grab and throw enemies anymore. That was always fun to just go grab a hold of one guy.
I was wondering if
throw him off the edge. And
I was wondering what gameplay differences. I bet you there's probably other little minute things like that, because this is being made by Team Ninja, and that like they've never made a game like this, like in this style before. And as I was watching the gameplay, and I kept thinking, you know what this reminds me of a lot? Dynasty Warriors. It literally, like, you switch between characters. You can have, like, I think they said 3 or 4 at once.
4
like
at once,
Yeah, whatever it is.
it's 4 total. You're one of them.
Yeah.
So you have three others,
that you
whether
can
it's
switch
friends or
and you could do that
AI characters.
And you could do that in the Warrior games. You could
Mhm.
switch between different characters, and they're always super powerful compared to the enemies. And so I'm watching. I'm like, this just feels like a Warriors game.
It kind of is.
So is
in a way,
how
it kinda is.
how does it differ? Because the way that people look at Warrior games, hack and slash, basically really easy. There's hardly any challenge. And every level basically feels the same a lot of the times in Warrior games.
Yeah. No, that's where this kind of differs a little bit. The levels don't feel the same. It is a lot of hack and slash. There are parts that can be hard, but depends on how leveled your character's at and where you're at in the game. Some things can be super easy. Some things can be not hard per se, but not like, oh my god, I'm just walking through these like la 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 la.
Well, it looked like they were doing that in the trailer, or in their footage. It looked like
Yeah.
they were just destroying everything.
And that was a lot, but a lot of their gameplay was early.
Well, yeah,
gameplay
that is
footage.
notable because it sounds like they're gonna have like a whole preview leading all the way up to E3. It sounds like.
No,
Like next week.
they
they're
were all.
doing
It was character profiles.
character profile. Yeah, next week.
Yep.
But that's just next week. What's
I don't know
after
what. I don't know.
that? Like
No,
because
it wasn't just next week. It was like I think they said 12 or 14
well, yeah,
character profiles.
it's however many characters
yeah.
that they're allowed to show off.
Yeah.
Because for those who don't know, they probably have a review copy of the game, or something, and got rights to have the first preview, kind of like IGN first. Like they got the rights for the first preview. And so they're allowed to show certain things along the way. Like they were allowed to show gameplay up to a certain point and talk about how the game works. And then next week they'll be allowed to do character profiles. Then after that they'll be allowed to show maybe a little bit more. Or after that, it just kind of goes on and on until you hit E3 and then they just blow you out. So that's and I don't mind them doing it for something like this. I think a lot of people would think, when these kind of previews come out this early and there's going to be a lot at E3 about it, people worry that, oh no, there's going to be too much information out there. But I think in a game like this, I mean, what did we learn? We learned the base premise for the story.
Yep.
Which, surprise, it's based around the Infinity Stones. Who knew?
In the Black Order.
An MCU universe game built around the Black Order and the Infinity Stones?
Yeah.
Man, I couldn't have told you that one.
Right.
The Black Order is literally in the title of it.
Yeah.
And the Infinity Stones are like some of the biggest things in all of
That's
Marvel.
happening right now. Yeah.
That's
definitely.
not really a surprise. No. None of the characters are really that surprising. I remember when they initially showed it off, someone said, "Wait, Wolverine?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's actually their X-Men are all Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
It's just been in cinema. It's just been owned by different companies, so like they couldn't really exist together.
Yeah.
Technically, they will be able to soon.
Yeah.
Since Disney bought out the company. Well,
Right.
Bought out the company.
Right.
Daddy,
Hey,
there's some,
there's some what, bud?
my sheet is wet.
Why is your sheet wet? Shouldn't you just be in your room right now? Yes, please go to your room.
I can't sleep in it.
Well, grab my Switch. It's right there. Next to my keyboard. I'll be up there in like a half hour.
Is it charged?
I don't know. If it isn't, it isn't. You play with whatever battery life it's got left. Does it turn on? You're hitting the wrong side.
It's almost dead.
Oh well.
I'm gonna make a charger for a while. I'll come back.
The charger is in Mom and Dad's room, plugged into the wall on my side.
Can you show me where is it?
You'll see it. It's the only thing plugged in on my side.
Where?
It's like what I.
Oh, behind your room?
It's no. I don't have a desk upstairs. It. You figure it out if you want to play. Oh, kids, the life of a parent.
Right.
Thanks, Yulia, for leaving. I love you, hon.
Yeah.
Anyways, in case she happens to be watching, tomorrow's gonna be not good.
Yeah.
All right. So one thing I did want to ask is what's the character selection look like compared to what you played?
There's a handful of. You were talking about Wolverine, and yeah, Wolverine's been in all of them. There's a handful of. It's a spattered around thing. They generally have groups, which again is in this game as well. So like the Avengers, the first Avengers, there's a Spider-Man group. There's a Women of the MCU apparently. In this one, that one's new. I think. I don't remember that one in the old ones, but as for character selection, I mean, obviously all of your Avengers, Cap, Thor, Hulk, Iron Man, have been in all of them.
Yeah. Okay. I was asking about that because the Avengers is weird because
ones that I didn't actually see though were the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, well, there's that. Well,
I didn't see any of those.
Well,
so
I almost feel like this is building heavily, has the series always kind of like built heavily off of the cinematic universe a bit? Because the big thing to remember is before Iron Man came out, the movie, he wasn't like a huge character of Marvel.
Right.
Nor was Captain America. Like, these are known properties, but these weren't the popular characters at Marvel.
No, well,
Spider-Man was always like the biggest.
The first one, if I remember right, there was a ton of Norse stuff. So Thor, and then they went into like Neptune, and so a lot of Norse stuff. That was like the first one. So that's kind of that storyline that one. Okay. Second one, I don't remember a whole lot of the story because they dumbed the story down quite a bit. Yeah, so it was this story I don't know, it could be good. It looks okay.
Well, here's the thing, like the story, is based on the Infinity Stones, which we just got wrapped up in the cinematic universe. It's them being spread all over the universe and trying to get them before the bad guys. Again, exactly, pretty much like what happened in the recent MCU stuff. And then it's got all of everything they've shown is basically mainstays from the normal MCU. Like, it starts off with Guardians of the Galaxy, which I'm not going to spoil anything with Endgame, but if you've seen Endgame, you'll know why that's interesting that it starts with the Guardians of the Galaxy crew. And then, going to the Avengers, which again became big with the MCU. And the thing is, I know these characters have always been big long before there was a cinematic universe, but some of these characters that headline these games, I'm kind of but these weren't the big characters before the movie started coming out.
So if I remember kind of timeline wise, I think the first one actually came out before a lot of the movies, I think.
Well, the only movie that might have been out back then is Iron Man.
Right. And then the second one,
or
so
Captain
the first
America,
one wasn't really
sure.
based a whole lot on the movies. And I think the second one was based a lot more on the
it makes
Avengers
a lot of sense.
movie.
I think some people feel. Oh, here's a question for you. Do you think it was a mistake for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 not to release in the same month as Endgame? A lot of people think that with the Endgame hype, right after that movie, some people are like, "Oh, what's next? Oh, hey, there's a new game."
Yeah, it could have been run right alongside of it. That might have been a decent
you release
idea.
the game when it's ready. It's
right,
fine, but,
right.
But a lot of people felt that I talked to anyways thought maybe this was a lost opportunity for the game.
I can see how that. I could
especially
definitely
since
see
it's
that,
exclusive and never been on Nintendo. So
right. No, I could definitely see how that could be a missed opportunity. I think the game is hopefully going to be good enough, and it's still. I don't know. Do we have a release date for it?
I don't remember off the top of my head. I know it's this summer.
Okay, so maybe we're still gonna be riding the tail end of the end game hype.
Marvel.
So maybe that's kind of how they're planning that. So
Well, it's not just the one thing to remember.
the end game of end game hype.
No, the one thing to remember is the end of Phase 3 for the Marvel Cinematic Universe isn't technically Endgame. It's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man Far From Home. So it could release around there. Yeah, it comes out July 19th.
Okay.
So that is very close to Spider-Man. So
Right.
it technically has a chance to build off of the Spider-Man.
Yeah.
The quote unquote real ending of Phase 3, even though
Right.
Endgame was kind of the ending of everything that had been built up to that point with the Infinity Stones. This is obviously, I think this is the end that's going to help set up the future. Is what I think is happening with Far From Home. Because there is still Phase 4, and guys, the Marvel Cinematic Universe isn't done. Okay.
Yeah.
Like Endgame wasn't the end of that round, the end of the Infinity Stones. I don't know if it'll be the end of them forever.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think back to the comics. I don't think the Infinity Stones were ever gone forever, even when they were destroyed. But
Yeah. Well,
nothing in comics is ever
nothing
gone
in
forever.
comics is ever gone forever.
So, anyways,
It looks good. I'm hoping it brings back a lot of the flavor from 1. I'm a little tentative that it's not going to, which kind of stings. But that's kind of what I'm hoping for.
timeout. T.
Yeah.
What the?
Holy cow! I mean, I saw it over there. I didn't see how much.
Okay. Goofus. I'm sorry. I'm going to be cutting this out in the final cut. Goofus Maximus. I don't know when you gave this. You gave a $50 super chat, which crazy. It says a little something for the E3 travel fund. Thanks for getting a kick out of my screen name.
Well,
one of your screen names is hilarious.
Screen name's amazing.
This is where I hate to let you know that $50 actually won't be able to go towards E3, because you did a super chat, and the super chats I don't see that money for 2 months. So if you actually wanted to give money towards E3 at all, or towards travel funds or food or whatever, you don't have to. I mean, we're not really collecting money for E3 anymore. But if you want to send, do any sort of thing that you would like us to have the money now or whenever, donation link, which I know unfortunately on this live stream is not actually in the description, because this isn't a normal live stream. This is just a bonus for us to advertise the fact that we have a Patreon and you can get this kind of stuff every week. So I don't blame you for using the super chat, because there's no link in the description. But if someone wants to maybe toss the link in the chat, I'll approve your thing to our normal thing if anyone wants to do that. But yeah, and I also don't normally read chat. But as soon as I brought up the stream and saw a $50 super chat, I'm like, wait, what?
Wait. Are we fully live?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize we were going
but
fully
you
live.
know what?
But either way.
Here's the thing. I do appreciate the $50
Yeah.
super chat. That's huge, man. Thank you so much. That's actually the most money I've made in any day of this month. So, thanks.
Yeet. Yeet.
All right.
Yeah, so hoping for the best, preparing for the worst. It's one of those things that you just can't get. You want to get overhyped for, but you probably shouldn't. Looks first impressions looks good. So yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm at with that.
Okay.
What did you think on it? Besides, I mean, yes, I know you said you felt a little bit Dynasty Warriors, but you're right.
I'm okay with it feeling that way, because I enjoyed like Hyrule Warriors and Fire Emblem Warriors. So I'm not like a big Dynasty Warriors fan, but any like universe of characters I enjoy, and I love Marvel. So I'll definitely give it a shot and try it out, and we'll see where it goes from there. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. What I thought was interesting is they said the best, because you could play like couch multiplayer with it, but they said the best way to play is for everyone to have their own Switch and their own copy of the game, which obviously gets expensive. Because local wireless play, you could have 4 people playing together and you all have your own screen, which is amazing.
Yeah.
If you have enough people to do that.
4 friends with Switches, or
but
3 friends with Switches.
Like we'll probably, I don't know if you're gonna have it. I'm gonna buy the game. So
yeah, I'm gonna buy the game.
So we'll be able to do that and test it. Who knows? Maybe that'll be a game we end up reviewing that month, or I end up reviewing. And then I can test out single player plus playing with someone locally, and then doing it also through the wireless play. But it's gonna be interesting. And I honestly, every time I watch it, it's just like, okay, like this feels like MCU. This feels like MCU, and I love MCU, so I'm in it.
I know. I was curious just because I know you haven't actually played any.
No, I have not played any of the prior ones, and I think the way they have this set up is it's almost like they know that a lot of people playing this might have never played the prior ones, so the story feels like you probably didn't need to play the prior ones.
No. The second one didn't tie into the story of the first one. If I remember correctly, it didn't tie in at all.
If it had a story at all.
Yeah. I remember it not being very as good as the first one.
Let's just hope that this is good.
The first one's story was phenomenal, and you learned quite a bit about the MCU.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to have hopes. It sounds like they kept some of the, maybe, I don't want to call it dumbed down, but maybe casualized to make it more accessible. I don't know. I didn't play the prior ones, but honestly, until we play it and go hands-on, it's hard to really pass any sort of verdict based on 7 minutes of gameplay with other people trying to tell us how it works.
Right.
So it'll be very interesting, and obviously, you know that is one game impression video that Eric's definitely gonna have to get in on after E3 for impressions, because he is way more of a veteran for this franchise than I am. So. In fact, I'm not a veteran at all. So it'll be interesting. You'll get the perspective of someone who's never played versus someone who has a lot.
And then normally it's the opposite way around.
Yeah, normally that's why I said it's going to be really interesting, because Eric's basically going to be leading it because he knows everything, and I know nothing.
From what I can remember anyways.
Well, you know way more than my nothing.
Yeah.
So, all right, next topic is actually interesting. It kind of sounds like the ESA is in trouble. For those who don't know, the ESA is the group that runs E3. They also run the ESRB, so the ratings board. Those are the two big things they're known for. But they're basically the Electronic Software Association handles trying to represent video game companies and gamers in general in the court system and the legal system, and do a lot of lobbying and blah, 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 blah. Try not to get video games banned because they're violent.
Because violence,
all that stuff. That was kind of like the big thing back in the 90s and early 2000s, but that's less of a concern these days, obviously. But there's other
starting to come back.
No, the concerns now seem to be around gambling and loot boxes. That's the big legal fight
but
now.
I mean, there is still the violent video games make violent people claims there are still those.
But enough scientific research has come out that I don't think it's going to happen in the U.S. anyways. Other places have actually put restrictions in place, but the U.S. has been kind of we're good. Which, I mean, come on, you've seen the movies that are like, come on, we're like literally. I'm pumped for the next Game of Thrones episode that's going to have
way more
violence than any video game I've probably ever played. So that being said, they have a lot of stuff going on. There was an article put up by Variety, and Variety did a lot of research on this. I guess they've been gathering this information for quite some time before they went to publication, which, by the way, is the best type of investigative journalism, in my opinion. Gather your sources and make sure you know what you're talking about. So I'm gonna, in the final version of this podcast, put a link to it down in the description for you to check out the full article. But I just got some bullet points, things to go here. So through a whole bunch of internal polling that they discovered at the ESA. The ESA is well aware that there's a lack of public trust in video games, and I think we've always known that. I think big name media sometimes has a lot to say with that, because they don't portray gaming very well, even today, unless it's something. To be fair, Nintendo often gets portrayed pretty well, but a lot of the gaming world is not portrayed that well. Like even as Fortnite's become a sensation, there's also like all these stories about Fortnite addiction, and it's like, well, yeah, people get addicted to everything.
Yeah, right.
So, anyways, and then it says E3 actually makes up about half of all of the revenue the ESA makes for the whole year.
That's crazy.
48%. What's interesting too is we found out that the ESA, the ESA files as a nonprofit. I didn't know that. A lot of companies file as nonprofits, by the way, so this probably isn't shocking. because I guess they're I guess they're sort of a public service company since they're representing gamers and game companies. But whatever. And I always find it weird when a company calls itself nonprofit when they make money. To be a nonprofit, I know the idea is you reinvest all your money back. I get that, but like even for-profit companies do that, so they don't have to pay as many taxes.
They don't reinvest all of it. They take the profit out of it. Nonprofits are supposed to reinvest everything that comes out. Any profit is supposed to go back into the company.
But a lot of American companies, and Donald Trump would know this, you spend all the money that you make in profits, sometimes just an increase in your own salary.
Yeah.
So your company avoids taxes.
Right.
But anyways, it's actually a really smart business, to be fair, and I don't blame anyone for doing it because that's the way the American economy is set up. Anyways, that's not here nor there. I don't really know the ins and outs of their nonprofit stature. But what's interesting is there actually been internal conversations about splitting E3 away from the ESA.
Who would run it? E3?
Well, I assume what would happen is the ESA would end up splitting in half, and then there'd just be because it makes up almost half the revenue. So half the company would just be, we just focus on E3.
Yeah.
And the other half worries about everything else. Which I don't know how that works in standing up for companies and all the legal fights, because obviously when most of your money comes, but they obviously have other revenue because 52% comes from somewhere else.
Right.
So, and E3, I'm sure, is hell of expensive for them. And yes, I know that all the companies pay in and Gamer Pass. I get it. They make money off it. That's the point. 48% of the revenue. But
I mean, for how expensive you think it is for them to host it.
Oh yeah, they're making bank.
And then to turn around and make 48% of their revenue off of that.
Yeah,
they're making beyond bank.
1 3-day period in June, 48% of all.
Yeah,
revenue.
that is nuts.
That is crazy.
Well, I'm there's other things that happen too, but yeah.
So, but to get into the troubling part, right? So we talk about, E3, they're talking about splitting it off. Is that really a troubling thing? Probably not, because they still have 52% of other revenue, and they, whatever, they obviously probably don't need the E3 revenue necessarily. Now, this is where things start to get a little sticky. Half of the executives at the company have left or were fired over the past 6 months. The former president, Mike Gallagher, he left or was forced to leave, seemingly because of his political stances. He is very right-leaning, supposedly, apparently a staunch Republican. I don't like how Variety frame things about him, just because by the way, I hate politics and gaming.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, he's very right-leaning, and he had a sealed copy of a Trump video game in his office, and apparently employees felt intimidated by that for some reason. And it's he supported Trump. Okay, he's a Republican. What do you expect? Mm-hmm. So
yeah, you're right.
So I try to not care about this stuff, but it is important because a vast majority of the video game industry is left-leaning. So he was running the company that represents all these companies legally when he doesn't agree with those companies. Mm-hmm. So that was always a big problem with the ESA and the rest of the industry, is clashing in what they want politically versus what he wants politically, because this matters because the ESA lobbies politically.
Right.
So what happened is there was a lot of bills, I guess, during the Obama era, and this is what led to him being forced to resign, that would have benefited a bunch of video game companies, but he didn't really show support for it. And he wanted to just push for support.
Not that he didn't show support for it. He just didn't push for it, I think, as much as what he should.
He didn't lobby.
Right. He didn't do what he was supposed to do.
So then,
from what it sounds like.
And then when policies came in that he felt would have been beneficial to the gaming industry that the other gaming companies didn't want, he started lobbying for that. And then that's when he was starting to get asked to get, and that was after Trump became president. So
right.
Again, it gets a little political there, and we're never going to know the ins and outs because we're just hearing one side of the story.
Right.
But it is obviously something I've known for a long time. I know the video game industry, gamers in general, tend to be really left-leaning. I know this. That doesn't mean there's not Republican gamers.
Right.
Of course there are.
Obviously.
The point is that there was a clashing of ideals with a company that's supposed to represent gaming companies that felt like they weren't properly represented. Mm-hmm. So that's what led to that, and probably has led to all these staff turnover. But the problem seems to be, and this is why we're talking about it, is they're still talking about E3 splitting off, because the big thing is, in spite of all the money they make from E3, they are consciously aware, based on Variety's inside sources, Like the employees, a whole bunch of employees at ESA know that E3 is actually failing. It's not failing making money, but its relevancy. E3 was the trade show.
Right.
And it still is considered the trade show.
Probably more by name than anything else, maybe.
Yeah, more by reputation.
Yeah.
Because think about Sony's pulled out. You think they ever foresaw Sony ever pulling out? And that doesn't mean Sony won't come back.
Right.
But still, Sony's not there.
Microsoft is its own
Sony
place.
thinks it could do better on its own. Microsoft is still there. Microsoft is in its own space.
There.
But
They don't have to pay
they're a partner with the ESA, so they're still making money off it. Granted, less because Microsoft's using their own space, but
Right.
still.
Yeah.
Microsoft still wants to be associated with it.
We need to get to that part of it too this year.
So there's a lot to. So there's a lot of things with that, and I guess the general feeling is they need to split E3 away from the ESA so they could try to figure out how to fix E3 because apparently all the ideas they have internally right now, none of them have worked. They've tried they tried letting the public in, and while that's making them a lot of money, it hasn't
actually kind of pissed off a lot of the.
Well, it's pissed off the media. Although I think it's gotten better now that they did the hours that media get early access.
They extended the hours that media got early access for.
Yeah, it used to only be like an hour. Now you get 2 hours, 3 hours the first day, 2 hours. So you get 5 hours before any public people are let in. You can get probably everything you need to be done.
You can get a good chunk of it,
when it's just media. Like they don't even let in the industry people. Like the people who have industry passes, they don't even get in. They get in with the public. So literally, media is given 5 unfettered hours of. We know you're in here just to cover this stuff, so you're going to get good coverage.
Right.
That's why we love to get media passes. Hopefully we'll have those next year.
Yeah.
So I think that has. I haven't seen too many complaints from the media now. Ever since they did that last year.
Right.
Or 2 years ago, I think. I can't remember what year they started.
It was
the year we went. We had media passes.
First year was the first year of public though. We had media, but it was the first year of public.
Yeah.
It was 2016.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if they made the change in 2017 or 2018.
And the ESA tried other things too. Before they ever did this public thing, they tried having 2 events. So then they tried having the private media event as always, and then they tried a separate public event that just bombed out after one. And the thing is, a lot of people felt like it could have worked. Just how they did it was not the right way to do it.
But the thing is, though, too, is I can understand how 2 things won't work, because you really going to have?
It's pretty simple. They could have. The reason that it failed, in my opinion, is because it was 2 separate events during different time frames at different locations.
Right.
They should have just kept this one event, extended to 5 or 6 days. First 3 days are media only. Last 2 days are public.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was going to say. And that's exactly what I was going to say was it. If they didn't, how many people are going to pay twice to come back? In a different, at a different time. You're already there. You're set up. You have to pay all of your employees for that. You have to pay for the floor space. You have to pay for this, pay for that. Is it worth it to come back that second time? And I think that might have been where they screwed up. If it's already done and set up, I think it could have worked.
Yeah. So they need to sort out how to keep themselves at the top, and I don't know how they're going to do it.
Well, here's one way. You just make sure that your press conferences and anything that you provide for people to show videos and stuff in games off on actually work. Taking a shot at UPAX with the Borderlands trailers.
That's not a problem.
Yeah, no, I know. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, that
you just don't do that.
Borderlands and I felt a little bad for Gearbox because it wasn't their equipment.
It wasn't their fault.
It wasn't their equipment.
Exactly.
Because the venue, the guy running PAX said, we have the equipment. You don't need to worry about it.
But the problem is that looks
Randy's
really...
we're going to bring in our own stuff. Now, there's a whole controversy with Randy Pitcher right now, too, so we're not going to get into that. But,
But that looks really bad on Gearbox, even though it's not their equipment.
Yeah, it just makes... Well, and he had rightfully was mad and should have been mad.
Yeah.
Because...
But that's PAX,
I don't know how
E3.
they can't play. It's just a video. How can they not play?
Yeah, right.
They're not rendering the game in real time. How can you not play a video? For crying out loud! You plug your phone in.
Use VLC.
Plug your phone in. Yeah. They were using like Windows Movie Player. Or
Media Player.
I was like
Movie Player. Yeah.
VLC.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways.
Yeah.
So I guess this kind of goes right into the next topic, which is how would we fix or change E3 if we could.
I don't
like,
know.
well, first off, what do we think's wrong with E3? Why is Sony not there? Why are there complaints every year?
I don't know if it's necessarily what's wrong with E3 versus all of these other conferences starting to get a little bit bigger. They're starting to grow quite a bit more. That's my understanding of it, right? Like PAX is starting to get
PAX is
big,
huge, bigger than it's ever been.
right? So the growth of those is.
So you think it's? Do you think this is kind of like the way it's going with physical games, where maybe GameStop might be out of business in 5 years or whatever? Like it's kind of this inevitable. There's nothing they can do.
Not necessarily.
Because everything else, everyone's realizing we can advertise games all year. We don't have to just do E3. We can do our own digital things. Like now we have State of Play from Sony.
Right.
We have Xbox Insider from Xbox. Nintendo Directs.
Right. I'm not gonna say that E3 can't be saved, can't be re-brought back to the glory of whatever. But part of me's wondering too if it's not a saturation issue too. We're getting oversaturated by. Okay, this game show, or this trade show, this trade show. Now we have this trade show, this trade show. There's more of them popping up and starting to grow a little bit. Are we getting oversaturated with trade shows?
I mean, I don't think so because, like what trade shows can you even think of right now?
Well, I mean, besides the other PAXs, but
there's 2 PAX.
There's 3 PAX.
Oh, okay, whatever, 3.
East, West, and South.
Okay, sure.
I don't know why there's not a Midwest one. Come on, bring one to Minneapolis. Come on, or Chicago. Come on.
So add another. But here's the thing: all the packs are pretty close to the same. Like when you see all the demos added, they're like the demos that were at E3. So they're still getting like secondary trickle down stuff. That doesn't mean there's not new announcements. Saw Borderlands.
Right.
Like, yes, that happens, but that's not a norm right now. And after what happened,
right,
it might not be coming over.
right. And I'm just kind of throwing ideas out here. What might be not necessarily. I don't know how to necessarily fix it, but what is causing this to quote unquote fail / diminish?
Well, as an example, Nintendo didn't unveil Switch at E3. First time they didn't unveil the hardware at E3.
Yeah.
Xbox One and PlayStation 4 were shown off before E3. They had their own separate media events. PlayStation 5 is likely to not even it might get unveiled this year, and E3 wasn't even part of any of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now it does appear Microsoft's going to use E3 for it, but that's because nobody else is. So
why not?
I think
That'd
they
be a smart move.
view it as, well, if no one else is going to do it, we're literally competing with no one, and we have millions of people watching. Why would we
exactly.
not?
Yeah, that's a smart business move. That's a smart
so
business move.
while Microsoft's going to be going the more traditional route, they didn't in the past with Xbox One, and I wonder if that has a lot to do with it. Because I think a big thing about E3 is the games, but it was always, you never knew when that hardware reveal was coming.
Right.
You knew. Surprise hardware. Now it's like, well, now it could happen anytime.
Mm-hmm.
Any direct could be it.
Right.
Any state of play, any PlayStation experience, any PlayStation experience each year. You have the Game Awards. I mean, I don't know that hardware. I mean, God, if a hardware gets unveiled at the Game Awards, that would be wild. That would Jeff Keighley, you are killing it if you get hardware reveal.
Right.
Holy crud, are you killing
right.
it if you Switch Pro showed what?
Yeah, wait,
at
what?
At the Game Awards?
Yeah, why not?
Okay,
Yeah.
Jeff Keighley.
Yeah.
Like
Reggie's
Reggie's not even at
Nintendo.
Reggie's not even at Nintendo anymore, so it don't matter how much you tug him. That's not how you made it work.
Yeah.
So here's
don't
the
know.
thing. In general, I think the issue with E3 is more perception than reality. I think there is a perceived notion that E3 is less than what it is because of the press conferences. Nintendo doesn't do traditional press conference; they do a digital conference. Sony isn't going to be there at all in any fashion. EA is not doing a press conference this year; they're just doing their EA Play thing, and whatever. So, I think there's a perception issue more so than a reality issue because attendance seems to be doing just fine.
Yeah.
You say yeah, but we're just talking about when we're there. Like they actually look at the final, the actual numbers. Are they dipping or sinking or going up? Or they're actually kind of stable. So the attendance is fine. The halls are actually more full now than they were back in 2016.
Yeah.
Granted, a lot of it's just some people selling stuff, but
I don't know how much.
I think that's still better than empty.
I don't know how much it's going to be filled up this year with Sony being gone because Sony was.
I need those floor plans, man. The floor plans should be out here in about a week.
Okay,
So,
that'd be nice to see.
I'm very curious. I'm hoping Nintendo bought the extra. I think Nintendo's got enough games. They could use the space.
Oh God, I mean, or at least half the space.
Like literally, no, just Nintendo. You need a bigger
just
booth.
buy that whole hall.
Just make half. Just make the Sony booth the Pokemon stuff, and you'll be good. Anyways.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, with how bad the lines were last year.
I mean, 3-hour wait. You had 8.
Oh, it was 4.5. It was 4.5 for me.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was
Well,
for
listen,
you. You were there before me.
I waited twice.
I know.
I don't really have to go back.
That's like an entire
Go back
day.
and watch the vlogs. I have my timer in there.
No, it was bad. So I think the problem with E3 is more perception than reality, and this is this will be my 33 attending. I think what people forget is E3 is a trade show.
Mm-hmm.
It is not press conferences. Press conferences have always been a big deal. The ESA has welcomed them. It's helped hype up the event, and I think that's why people put so much value on E3 is because you knew Nintendo, even now, Nintendo's doing it right. You know Microsoft's at a press conference. You know Bethesda. You know Square Enix. You know Ubisoft. Like, they're all still doing it, so that's all still a big deal. But that's not E3.
Right.
Those are press conferences.
Right.
E3
that just
itself,
coincide with
E3. Itself is a 3-day event where media and gamers that pay get access to actually play hundreds of games that are not out yet.
Right.
That is what this show is. That's what it's been. It's what it's always been.
Right.
So for me, looking on, I get being disappointed and let down at the press conference level, but the trade show level seems just as strong as ever.
Mm-hmm.
Just no Sony this year. That'll be the only weird thing.
Yeah.
But
That's really
again,
weird.
that doesn't mean Sony's never going to come back. It
Right.
just, they're going to try something new and see what happens. And if it doesn't work as well as being at E3, they'll be back at E3 next year.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is because I don't think Sony has a lot of games coming out this year and they know it.
Right.
I think they know. I think they're Nintendo in 2016, where they know the next hardware's coming. They don't have a lot of games coming, and so Nintendo decided instead of leaving, we'll just hype people up for Breath of the Wild.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas they're like, well, we're not going to just like hype people up for Death Stranding or something for the 20 billionth time. When it ain't coming till PlayStation 5. So like they're just gonna wait till they're ready, which will probably be by the end of this year or next year.
Yeah.
So honestly, I'm not. I don't think E3 has a problem at the level of
The trade show
the
itself.
trade show. I think the trade show is healthy as hell. It's the press conferences, and I don't think you can't force companies to do them. And the way Nintendo does it with a direct is the most financially responsible way to do it.
Right. No question for you.
And more controlled. Controlled environments are huge.
Right. Question for you. In the past, before they started doing kind of their own type of press conferences and stuff, weren't most of that stuff done kind of in that same area, not necessarily at their own studios? Like they did it not necessarily within the building, the EA Convention Center or the LA Convention Center.
Yeah, it wasn't in the LA Convention Center.
But like close by, like actually.
Yeah, I
was
think
it not done like in a studio.
it was in
at
a theater.
Nintendo
It was always
or-
in a theater.
Right. No, they don't. I don't think they do all those now at that same theater. At a lot of them aren't going.
Well,
live.
Microsoft does it at their theater, their own theater, obviously. But other people have done it at the Microsoft one. I can't remember. There is a theater that's near E3, near the convention center, that I think someone's done it at. For some reason, I remember the Nokia theater being used a lot,
Okay.
and that's down in Hollywood.
And and that's my question though. Is it that a lot of these things are kind of going away from live press conferences because of the.
I think for ESA, what they're worried about is just the stature of E3.
Mm-hmm.
And they know the stature of E3 is what it is, not just because of the trade show. The trade
Right.
show is incredible, and we get a whole
Right.
bunch of great stuff, but that hasn't changed.
Right.
What's changed is the press conferences.
Right.
And they know that because of that, the game announcements and the new game announcements, like the relevancy seems to be a lot in the announcements, and if you don't have the press conferences, you don't have the announcements.
Mm-hmm.
A
A lot of it aren't, but isn't a lot of these starting to go away from live press conferences and stuff like that? Aren't a lot of the companies going away from that? Not necessarily, you know what I'm saying? Filmed live, but edited and filmed like 3, 4, or 5 week early, edited and then shown that way.
Yeah,
if
like
they do-
like the Nintendo Direct.
Right.
But not really,
No.
Microsoft's live, Ubisoft's live, like they're all, everyone's live.
Okay.
The
Except
only
Nintendo.
even EA, who's not doing a live press conference, they're doing like a treehouse style thing, and they're gonna just announce all their things through that. So even they're doing live over 2 days.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Nintendo's the one doing pre-recorded. There has been one other studio that did one, Digital Evolver, I think, did a pre-recorded one once. But they're a smaller one. Of the major companies, Nintendo was the only one who did it, and they're still the only one who did
Okay.
the pre-recorded.
Okay. I can never really
Yeah.
fully. I don't really know whether it's live or.
To be fair, for some companies, they've kind of got it figured out.
Yeah.
Ubisoft every single year just shows really well at E3.
Yeah.
Especially the last 5 years. They always have some new IP that just blows people's minds. And they've been killing it with Assassin's Creed lately. And even it's just like it feels like The Division and Watch Dogs, like they've just been kind of killing it. So they kind of have a nice flow to their press conferences that seems to be working for them. Bethesda has been like the king of the press conferences lately at E3. Like they just, I don't know why, they just seem to always do well. It's always been like the Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo ones that always seem to be the most embarrassing. Well, EA, that's why EA is not doing it this year.
It's just embarrassment to begin with.
But like Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft have always been kind of like a crap, not even less than a crapshoot at E3 if it was gonna be good or not.
Yeah.
Like Sony's live press conference last year was terrible.
I was gonna say, didn't
They had an intermission, a 45-minute intermission.
Yeah, no.
They started off with like a 15-minute musical performance.
Yeah.
Showed you 7 minutes or something of The Last of Us, the next Last of Us, and then boom, 45-minute intermission. To the point that the people that were trying to entertain you in the intermission ran out of things to talk about.
Yeah.
It kept reminding you, we're being told it'll be ready soon. 20 minutes later, we're still being told it'll be ready.
Right.
It's like,
well, that's because you had to move your whole entire crowd.
like, it was a terrible thing. And then on top of that, that wasn't bad enough for Sony, right? Like, I'm not saying they didn't have some games that look cool. Ghost of Tsushima, like, they had some really cool looking stuff, but the pacing was off. The 45-minute intermission was longer than the totality that they actually showed games. And on top of that, their live thing, their version of Treehouse Live, like when we were on the show floor and I'm over there like watching it on because they had a huge screen area where you could sit down and just kind of watch it, and I'm like, this isn't very good.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
the entertainers weren't very entertaining.
They don't know what they're doing. This is not.
And I'm wondering if that's part of the decision to pull out a little bit.
Like they tried to be like, look, we're gonna stick with live press conference, but we're also gonna add a treehouse aspect, and they failed at both.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I think they said, well, we invested so much in that, and everyone hated it, so we just won't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. I'm cool with that. They're still gonna do live press conference. Like PSX has a live press conference, so they're still gonna have it. There's not an E3. So I think the big thing for EA, they're just worried about clout. It's all clout.
Right. How long has this idea or thought
Downward
process
trend?
of downward trend
Since
been
Nintendo
happening?
started doing digital.
Okay. And how many years has that been?
Last time they did a live one was Wii U, before the Wii U came out, so 2012.
Ooh, jeez. Okay, so a while.
It's been 5 years.
I was gonna say
7
I wasn't.
years. God, it's been a while.
I'm just wondering if it was starting, kind of these picking up steam because of the, again, with not that Microsoft pulled out, but they kind of pulled out. They separated themselves a little bit.
Microsoft's biggest issue with theirs has always been lack of exclusive games.
Mm-hmm.
That's been Microsoft's biggest bugaboo every single year. Is they have a lot of impressive third-party games showed off, but there's nothing exclusive.
Right.
And that was why they bought so many studios last year. So it's one of
Right.
those things that they should have a better showing this year just because they have more studios. And they'll show some of those games, probably teased for the next Xbox. But
yeah, you can't help the image of E3 if Microsoft not pulling out, but kind of separating themselves out a little bit. I understand the move. I do. And then Sony completely not being there this year.
Microsoft, okay, the original reason that Microsoft took their booth and put it in their own building wasn't even a money thing. It was space.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't space.
Which is weird because they weren't they in the other hall, the opposite hall of Nintendo? And
but they didn't want to be.
I mean, yeah, but
if you're going to be here's their viewpoint. if you're going to be in the other
You want to be in
hall-
the main hall.
If you're going to
But-
be in the other hall, right? Which, don't get me wrong, there is some cool stuff in the other hall.
yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of the third party, a lot of like Ubisoft, a lot of the big third parties are in that hall.
Yeah.
Perfectly worth going to.
Yeah.
But if you're Microsoft and you're not in the same hall as Sony and Nintendo,
What's the point?
why not just have a whole building to yourself? It's
Yeah.
pretty much the same walk between the halls as it is to walk to their place. So, like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not.
I mean,
it's
it's a little
it's
bit-
shorter,
it's-
but it's shorter to stay in the
halls,
convention
but
center.
it-
But
yeah.
it's still, it's like Microsoft said, look, we want a giant space. There's not room in there to have a third giant
there's-
space, so we're just
yeah.
going to, we're just gonna move it to our own place.
Mm-hmm.
They still. Here's the thing though, the ESA doesn't seem worried about that. Like, we're making this video, like they don't care. They're making money off
Right.
of it.
Right.
So
But the aesthetics of it.
I don't think the aesthetics of it matter. It's close enough to like everything. You gotta remember, like there's this E3 live, a whole
Mm-hmm.
event. Like they basically, for those who don't know, everyone thinks E3 is a convention center. It's like a 7-block radius.
Oh, God,
is
it's nuts.
everything E3. Ads everywhere.
It's nuts.
E3 live, outdoor things happening, and like this isn't even counting EA Play, which is in a completely different area. Not even
Oh, that's in
near.
Hollywood.
Yeah, like not even near. So like all like it's crazy. So like the Microsoft thing has its own like little district, and it all fits together. So I don't really think ESA cares about that because they already they're just like, oh, we get to own even more area. Sweet, let's do it.
Yeah.
But because that just gives them more area to sell ads and sell this and so like it's fine. I don't think the ESA cares. I think it is their primary concern is the relevancy of E3 being the conference
Right.
that every gamer feels, basically being gamers Christmas. I think that's their word because you talked about how like there's all these other press conferences or all these other events that the games could come at. 3 different PAXs, maybe 4 someday. This isn't counting if they ever open one in Europe.
Right.
I don't know that necessarily. I think personally, I think
US
PAX is a huge deal, but it's just US. So
Right.
they're just like, I guess you can call them like mini or I was gonna say mini E3s, but probably more like a Comic-Con that blew up. I think because like PAX isn't just video games. So that's like the thing to remember about PAX is like E3's distinction is we are electronic entertainment video games. Like you could be electronic entertainment. You could argue that's digital. You can argue it's movies and comics. That's fine. But guess what? It's just video games.
Right.
So that is their like PAX is everything. Video game facility 3.
Right.
There's other Tokyo Game Show. Or is it not Tokyo Game Show? Tokyo,
know.
whatever it's called. They have their thing. Gamescom is
Yep.
now huge.
Yep.
And now they're having press conferences there too. So like
E3 isn't the only kid on the block anymore. Is
yeah,
what
Gamescom
I'm saying.
didn't exist like a decade ago, I don't think. And if it did, it wasn't much before that. The Tokyo game thing's been around for a while. Tokyo Game Show's been around for a long while, but that was I guess I never really worried about that because that was kind of like on the other side of the world. So it's
Right.
it's
How much
not a
effect
huge-
does it have on E3?
it's not a huge deal, and there's a lot of Japanese only games, and heck,
Right.
Nintendo doesn't even go there. They just have meetings. It's weird, right? Nintendo doesn't go to
Sure, why
Nintendo
not?
does not attend Tokyo Game Show. They just
Why
have,
not?
they do meetings with companies behind closed doors there, but they do not have booths or anything. Like it's really weird, but I don't know why. It probably goes back to some dispute at some point, but I honestly think that here's the thing. I don't think as a person who attends E3 that there's anything wrong.
No.
But as the outside looking in, there's a lot of you guys out there that have told me that E3 is worse than it's ever been and this and that. And I'm just like, maybe I'm tainted because I go now. So I honestly, because I didn't go 10 years ago.
Right.
It could have been way
a
more
lot better.
amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know. All I know is I go now, and I think it's overwhelming how much crazy, amazing stuff there is to do.
Oh, I know, right? It's always fun to go.
And
in
this is just like one. It's cool just to walk around.
Oh yeah,
Like,
for
it's
sure.
such
See
a
what's
neat-
new
I
and
mean,
what's different.
That's true of any major convention, but
Yeah.
it is cool just to walk around. But like you legit, in the past could just bump into Reggie randomly walking
Yeah.
around. You theoretically, it has happened. We haven't had it happen yet, but others have bumped
Well,
into Miyamoto.
We've come this close to actually getting to go play Breath of the Wild with Reggie.
We were standing in line, and Tim Schafer just stopped like 4 feet from us the
Yeah,
other day
right.
and was just talking on the phone.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
Sure, why not?
Like you got like E3 is crazy. Like, because here's the thing, at other shows, like big developers, like they can't walk around the floor, they'll get mobbed.
Mhm.
But at E3, it's like this understanding, even if it's media and gamers, that hey, you can say hi,
Yeah,
but they're here to work.
right.
So like,
Yeah.
if Reggie's walking around, don't feel bad to say hey Reggie, but like don't think he's gonna stop for you.
Right.
Like, don't get offended if he doesn't stop
Right.
for you. Tim Schafer, he doesn't stop. Like it's fine. So it's one of those things that to me, as someone who attends, is something that is uniquely E3. Is everyone's together and everyone's an understanding of what this is, and it is a chance to meet YouTube celebrities. It is a chance
Yeah.
to meet.
I mean, I ran into Bob Wolf.
Yeah, Bob Wolf that baby.
Wolf that.
Woo! So like, it is a chance to meet a bunch of people that you normally want, but it's also not going to be mobbing people. Like, if PewDiePie, for example, wanted to go or whatever, and with the biggest YouTuber in the world, but even with him there, it would be understood.
Generally, you say hi. I mean,
You can say hi,
I
say
mean-
what's up, but like he's there to work.
We-
Everyone's there to work. Everyone's there to enjoy games. These people are not the show. It's cool. Like you can bump into Angry Joe.
I was just gonna say, the first year we were there, we were within 5 feet of Angry Joe.
And you could say hi, but like it's
Right.
understood that like,
Yeah.
hey, we're all here doing something. Like they're on their way to something, you're on your way to
Right.
something. Like say hi, whatever. Maybe
Get a handshake.
maybe exchange
Maybe.
some business cards,
Yeah.
whatever. And if he has time to chit chat, maybe he'll chit
Yeah.
chat, or if he recognizes you from something you do. But it's just one of those things where it's kind of understood that like there isn't that mentality where I've heard in the past, like Boogie 2988, going to like VidCon and like he has to go around back corridors and this and that. Like, you can't go out in the middle of the floor. It causes chaos.
Yeah.
But that's not the case at E3.
Yeah. I mean, you can tell if somebody's around because the volume gets a little bit louder,
Well, sure.
and everybody starts clamoring and whispering and, oh my God, look at it, look at this. Look at
But
this.
that's all it is, though.
Yeah, but you're
It's
right.
not that's all. Like, and I will say one thing they do that's really cool is you hate it sometimes.
Yeah.
But yet they have the security. They have lots of security.
Yes, they do.
And they're just like, keep moving.
Yep.
And that helps as well. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
hey, look, like, hey, say hi, but you guys better keep walking. Like,
Right.
You're not
Right.
going to stuff up traffic and prevent people from getting the stuff. They're a little stickler about some things, but whatever. Like, I can't blame them. There's, 70,000 people coming into the damn building. So.
We were in the line for Overcooked 2 last year, and all of a sudden we turn around and there's the 10K.
Yeah.
And the person that I can't remember her name.
Oh, Evelyn?
Yeah, the person that he does his stuff with. It's just like, oh, hey, how's it going? And then
I said, was it you or me that said hi? I can't
no,
remember.
you did, because I didn't recognize them.
Yeah, I recognized
don't know who
them.
they
Wait
were.
a second. You're like they're literally right next to me, and they're
Yeah.
just standing there. I'm like, well, you're
Yeah.
not doing anything. I'm waiting. in
Or
line.
they're both.
Hey,
we're all waiting in
what's
line.
up?
We're just chatting. I mean,
I recognize you guys.
and actually, they recognized you too. I think,
Well,
if I remember a little bit.
They weren't sure at first. They're like,
Maybe.
and then they like, look, oh, Nintendo Prime. That sounds familiar. Like Nintendo
Right.
Prime sounds familiar, but because I had never communicated with them before.
Right,
so,
right.
So it wouldn't be.
They
like
were
this year,
aware
like
of
if,
you.
Like if we bump into
It seems
Super Metal
like-
Dave again, or like
Right.
they know us,
Yeah,
like Bob,
right.
whatever.
Yeah.
So of course they're gonna say,
Yeah.
we know all these people. We've
Right.
talked to them. But it's a very fun event that way. That's why to me, when people tell me, oh, E3 is like, for me, it's always been about the trade show. Even when I was just a gaming fan, press conferences are great, get hyped,
Yeah.
get awesome. But like,
Oh yeah.
dude, ever since Nintendo started live streaming, as just someone sitting at home, I'm like, guys, E3 Christmas is now 3 straight days. It's
Right.
not just a
Right.
45 minutes on a Tuesday. It's 3 straight days.
Right.
And we still have press conferences that start on Sunday. So it's like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's Christmas.
It is.
Like, to me, it's
It
even
is.
more
It is.
exciting.
It is.
In fact, there's so many streams now of so much stuff
Yeah.
that, like, when I was at home just enjoying E3, I would have my TV on back when they used to put it on TV on G4 or whatever.
Well,
it
that's
was
probably
on.
another reason why it's going down the hill.
Back on G4.
It's not on TV.
Back on G4.
Yep.
Anyways, but I'd have their thing up. And then you would have like the IGN stream up and the GameSpot
Yeah.
stream, and now Twitch and YouTube Gaming.
Yeah.
And you would have all these different streams up. I would have legitimately like 18 different streams running at
Yeah.
once of all. Because I'm just like, okay, which one's talking about something I care about?
Right,
Which one-
right.
Yes, this one's, oh crap, this one's talking about too. Hit record. Oh, like,
Right,
like,
right.
and it's still like, it's even worse now.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's, to me, to me, it's like I
Yeah.
don't think there's anything wrong. I'm still like E3 is amazing,
Yeah.
but I get it because I think the ESA knows that without with companies basically not revealing hardware anymore, that's a huge loss compared to. You always knew the new hardware will always be unveiled. Always. Nope, not now.
A major game may not be announced at E3 though too. No.
Yeah,
With
Bayonetta
tax
3
popping up.
Heck, Bayonetta 3 was. I mean, granted, you can argue how major that is, but Bayonetta 3 was announced at the Game Awards.
I mean, Borderlands 3 again, still not announced at E3. That's a big game.
So there's a lot of things to consider. I don't know.
I'm
Here's the
curious.
thing, I'm actually curious what your guys' idea
That's
is.
exactly what I was thinking.
Well, actually, first off, tell me what you guys think is wrong with E3.
Yep.
And then
If there's something wrong.
what you think can be done to fix it, because I don't know. I come from the perspective of I'm basically media and I love it, and I don't.
And maybe
I want-
that's the thing.
I'm biased. I don't know. Like I've been covering E3 for so long, I don't find myself any less excited for it than
Yeah.
before. And I know I attend now, so I guess that's a whole new level of excitement. But it's,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I mean, guys, do you know how many videos we made off of E3 last year?
Actually, quite a bit.
Like,
Well, we vlogged every day.
well, we have the daily vlogs and the gameplay and the hands-on impressions. Those are all guaranteed
Yep.
stuff we're gonna do again.
Yep.
And like, holy crud, there were so many games.
Yeah.
We didn't even get to them all. My fault because of the badge. Because we
And,
didn't get to go into that one part of the Sega booth where they had Valkyrie Chronicles 4.
Oh, yeah.
And stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's my bad that we did not actually get gameplay and hands-on of everything. We were that close. We would have. If I didn't screw it up, we would have got that done, and we would have had time to go to Microsoft. But
Yeah.
not this year.
Yeah.
Not this year.
Right.
Badge check before we
Badge
leave the
check
hotel.
before we leave
Badge check. We'll be like,
every
Badge
check.
badge check.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Maybe it's one of those things that we just wear our badges coming out of the hotel instead of
just go to
throwing
sleep
them in the
them.
trunk.
Go to sleep in them.
Anyway.
No, I'm not putting anything in the car.
No,
in
that's
LA.
Well, no, because when we transport our stuff, we threw everything in the trunk. So we never. I mean, we just assumed that it was in the bag. That's why I think when we just grabbed our bags.
Oh, I don't know what
don't
you're
think
talking
we
about. I brought everything in back to the hotel every
No,
time. I don't know what
I know, but in the morning when we grabbed our bags to walk out the door, we
I
were
never
thinking the
put-
pass was in the bag.
I never put the pass in the bag.
Well, then there's your problem.
Why would I put the pass in the bag?
Because you know you're gonna grab the bag to go out the door.
So
Then you know you have your pass. I didn't forget my pass.
never-
I put mine in my bag. I didn't forget my pass.
I'm just gonna sleep in the thing.
There you go. There, just never take it off.
Never take it off.
Just go swimming in it. Go
I'm gonna
do
slip
everything in
it
it. Yeah.
my chest. Just got to wear, I'm gonna put button downs the whole time so I
Yeah.
can like undo it and then kind of go behind the
Yeah,
badge and
yeah.
rebutton it so it's still sticking out.
Oh boy. On that,
Better sure-
that's what's wrong with
Better-
E3.
Wait. Do I shave or not shave? Because if I don't shave, it could just get glued to the hair, and then I can just
Right.
snip the hair off.
That's the punishment.
A waxing punishment.
Ooh.
Oh,
Ooh. Ooh.
a chest wax, and it had to be the full chest. You can't just leave them with one strip.
What can you?
I mean, with how much it hurts, but still, I mean, come on. I don't know. I'll
Yeah,
tell you what. If
yeah.
I lost and it was a waxing, you're doing the whole thing. I'm just got the man up because I ain't letting you just rip one strip and just leave it as a big red streak across my chest and not have.
Ah, come on. That's why it's a punishment.
It'll still look hilarious. It'll all be on camera.
Yeah. No.
Fine, you're right. The rest I do for my pleasure.
Ah.
You do it once a month. Ooh.
Hey.
Oh my God. I don't know. Please do not suggest that as a punishment.
Well, you can
This will be
suggest
the-
it. Doesn't mean that it's gonna happen.
This will be the year I lost.
Yeah, right.
This will be the year I lose.
Right.
Anyways, thank you guys for tuning into the Nintendo Prime podcast. Be sure to check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/Nintendo Prime for $5 per month. You get 1 day early access to the audio version of the podcast. For $10 a month, you get to watch us record the podcast live. For $20 a month, you actually get a chance to be on a podcast episode once per month. Otherwise, man, you could find it on Podbean, on iTunes, on NintendoPrime.net, on the
The
Google
new
Play stuff.
revamped,
Well, it's not really revamped.
fully revamped.
Fully
yet.
revamped.
It's coming.
It's a thing. Technically, if you go there right now, you can't watch any of the podcast episodes. So that's a thing. And Eric's just finding out about this now and going to be pretty
Actually,
angry
yeah.
about
Now
it
that I think about it,
because
you're right.
The videos aren't up because they were in a specific video thing on that layout. and that doesn't exist anymore. So now you got to manually put the videos in there. So technically, you cannot watch every single episode of NintendoPrime.net. There is nowhere to watch every single episode of the Nintendo Prime podcast currently, but it will be NintendoPrime.net eventually when Eric decides to get around to putting the old videos back up. And this is where I also mentioned to Eric, if you want the thumbnails to look great for them, they all have to be 1000 by 400 now. Instead of the 1920 by 1080, just ripping the thumbnail out, now you got to resize. And it sucks for me too, because I have to resize too whenever I put up post.
Yeah.
If you want it to look good. If you don't care about how it looks, then
You know I'll do it.
I know he will. He just does it in batches. It's just like just like programming. Just batch it up.
Yeah,
It's all
pretty
right.
much.
I mean, once you get in the flow, it's super easy. But,
Yeah.
It's when you start getting to like, okay, 50 episodes in. When does this end?
You're right.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. This is the song. Okay.
All right. Thank you guys
Yeah.
for tuning in. We'll catch you guys in the next episode. No, not over something. It was just on the floor this time.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Oh man, Julie's been texting me crazy.
Yeah. And
Hey, Clayton Miller, $2 super chat. How about them Bucks, baby? Woo! Eastern Conference Finals.